Hello and welcome back. This is the Agent Workforce Podcast, episode 14. I am Kristiina Åberg, Head of Marketing at Digital Workforce, and with me, my amazing co-host, Niko Lehtonen, AI Solution Architect at Digital Workforce.
Hello, hello.
We are reaching now the season finale with episode 14. We started this podcast in mid-February, I think, was the first episode out, wasn't it so, Niko?
It's been a good journey so far, and long may it continue.
Yeah. So with the Agent Workforce podcast, we're dedicating this podcast to exploring the evolving landscape of AI agents and their role in particular in the context of business automation. And we are covering in this podcast the rapid advancements in AI, particularly LLMs and AI agents, and how the impact is quite profound in industries, job roles, and of course our everyday lives. And in today's episode, we're trying to look back what we have been discussing over the course of these 13 previous and now this 14th episodes, and reviewing some of the main topics and recurring themes. So with that, I say we kick off our season finale episode. So something that we've been discussing, actually, it came out first time, I think, in episode 7, the leaked memo of Shopify CEO, and then a continued theme, leaked memo of I don't think it was leaked, but a Duolingo CEO, and how AI is impacting these companies and what is expected from employees. And that's actually a recurring theme that we're seeing now speeding up, I would say. And the latest to join the club was Amazon CEO Andy Jassy. And I'm going to share my screen just in case that you want to go and check what Amazon's CEO said about there. Bear with me a second. Just hit the screen share button. So there's a long text about how AI is changing Amazon, but the one I want to highlight here in this context is that they're saying that they're using today over 1,000 Gen AI services and applications in progress or being built at scale, and how as they roll out more Gen AI and AI agents, it will have an impact in their job roles. And in the next few years, they expect that this will reduce their total corporate workforce as they get efficiency gains from using AI extensively across the company. And he's also urging people to pick up the new skills, be curious about AI, educating themselves, attending workshops and taking trainings, experimenting with AI wherever people can, and participating in Teams brainstormings. I'm not going to read this all aloud, but you can go and check. It's about Amazon.com and there a news post and CEO Andy Jassy on Gen AI. So it's a theme we've seen popping up again and again. We're seeing more of these type of announcements from CEO and top roles. And what we can say is that jobs are changing indeed. And there are several sources now reporting that entry-level jobs are getting scarcer. And we also talked about roles in episode 2, where we picked up some openings, job openings from Klarna, OpenAI, Sierra. And there's definitely less entry-level jobs. At least that's the perception in the markets, and it's impacting, but it's not all gloomy, of course. And that's good to keep in mind as well, that there are definitely new roles emerging, and people with the skills in AI are very high in demand. And there are new types of roles, and something that Palantir introduced some time ago, something they called forward deployed engineer, is an engineer that works directly with customers to adapt and implement the company's existing software platforms to solve their specific problems. This is actually something direction that even OpenAI is moving towards, and you can go and check their open positions. They are recruiting a group of forward deployed engineers across their workforce. So anything to comment here, Niko, reflecting back and where we are today with these type of changes?
Yeah, well, I mean, starting from Amazon's over 1,000 Gen AI applications services that are in place, would be really interesting to know how, because obviously Amazon is huge. They have a lot of development resources and so on. So it would be interesting to understand how many have been built with business users? What's the percentage that business users can have been involved in those projects? Because there's obviously many different ways in building these types of solutions. And well, they do say in the article that going forward, they're going to have ways to build agents more easily, which might be a sort of reading between the lines a way to say that they want to involve less technical people with that as well. And it really is the only way to scale it if you want to really get into Gen AI and find the way to transform your whole business. You need to get the business users. You need to give the business users the tools, and they have to be the kinds of tools that people know how to use. And I would guess, and I've said this before, but the biggest gap and the biggest skill to have is going to be the prompt engineering, because that will be the key to that will unlock people being able to build agents truly by themselves. So where that's how far like Amazon is with that, or any organization who's full on into this, would be really interesting to know about, because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, indeed. And continuing on the skills front, this is actually from Zapier, CEO of Zapier. It was released on June 5th when he made a tweet or note post on X. Let me pick that up as well. So you can see it here. I've enlarged the table, but practically he made a post on X saying that Zapier's requirement for all new hires to possess fluency, 100% fluency in AI. And he shared a chart within a thread related to this topic, outlining how they evaluate this fluency with new hires. And there are 4 levels of fluency across or in their hires. So there's like level of unacceptable, and individuals in this category are resistant to AI tools and skeptical of their value. And according to Foster, such individuals would not be hired or would not retain their jobs at Zapier going forward. And then there's the level of capable, and applying to new users of the most popular AI tools, typically with less than 3 months of usage and experience. And then there's the next level, which is called adaptive. Individuals at this level are integrating AI into their personal workflows, tuning prompts, training models, automating tasks to boost efficiency. And then the highest level, which is transformative, and at this level is being described as the sweet spot where individuals use AI to rethink strategy and offer user solutions that were not possible before. So yeah. So, and also what I want to highlight what comes to skills, a word that keeps on popping up nowadays is taste. And the concept of taste, which is emerging as a critical human skill that will become increasingly valuable and in demand in the age of dominated by artificial intelligence, where you can endlessly create things, but you will still need taste and experience to define what is good and what is actually true. So yeah, any comments on this?
No, I'm seeing this as a pure thing for the first time. And I think, again, measuring AI fluency is not it's not very simple, and depending on who you ask, it's going to be a very different thing how fluent you are with AI. But yeah, I would definitely think that each team in any line of business is going to need that sort of AI champion that's going to take them forward and help them find the targets for the AI and help them build those solutions as well.
But I guess we can conclude here that skills and being fluent in AI will help individuals in their future roles, and yeah, no one knows what's going to happen in the future, but what we know for sure is that as of today, people with skills in AI are high in demand, and that's for sure what we can see in job openings and across like all channels. Okay, but let's move on to AI agents. So we've talked about AI agents, defining what do we mean by AI agents, in particular enterprise AI agents, and what are the types of AI agents. We've talked about horizontal AI agents versus vertical AI agents. What's the difference? And this was in episode 3. And then we have multiple times referred to like vertical AI agents such as Harvey, and now it's actually Harvey for X is becoming a thing. So Harvey is a Gen AI like platform tailored for the legal industry, but there are Harvey for X being introduced across like different domains and different functions. And we mentioned Kastrens Nelman, a large Finnish, what's that law agency? Law firm, thank you. Yeah. So they announced that they have started a pilot with Harvey. Last episode, we talked about open evidence, which has rapidly become the default search bar for many US doctors by mixing tight medical-only training data, aggressive publisher deals, and a free-to-use model that beats legacy CDS tools on freshness and usability. And actually on June 30th, which was just a few days ago, Microsoft announced their new study pairing two innovations, sequential diagnosis benchmark, SDMark, and then also a tool that they are calling Microsoft AI Diagnostic Orchestrator. Let me pick that up here. So there's a great blog post about this on microsoft.ai/new/the part to medical superintelligence. Better put that on, search that online. So you'll find this article. But there are some really interesting points here, how they've developed a new benchmark, because the previous benchmark, which has been like physicians needing to pass the United States medical licensing examinations and putting Gen AI tools to pass that, it's been too easy for the tools to pass. So now they've developed a new type of benchmark. And what they've also done, they've like paired a team, letting several language models to collaborate like a virtual panel of doctors to test whether Gen AI can reason through real clinical workflows, the new benchmark that they explain in this article. And let me put up that part of this where they actually define the orchestration piece and the different. They have Dr. Challenger agent there. They have Dr. Stewardship agents. They have Dr. Checklist agents. They have Dr. Test Chooser agent and Dr. Hypothesis agent. And the results from this have been incredible. I don't know how you pronounce this actually, MAIDXO. May DXO boosted the diagnostic performance of every model they tested, and the best performing setup was MAI DXO paired with OpenAI's O3, which correctly solved 85.5% of the new benchmark cases, extremely tricky cases. And for comparison, they also evaluated 21 practicing physicians from the US and UK, each with 5 to 20 years of clinical experience. And on the same tasks, these human experts achieved a mean accuracy of 20% across these completed cases. And to keep in mind, this is not peer reviewed. These are research demonstrations only and not currently available as public benchmark or orchestrations or anything. But we can definitely see big advancements here. Nico,
Yeah,
any
absolutely.
reflections?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I read through this article as well, and I think it is really interesting. And obviously, the use cases that are in the journal are not simple use cases. So indeed,
No.
these are ones that require very specialist knowledge and years of specialist experience in that field. And somehow the AI solution just way surpasses the human performance here over 4 times over. But yeah, Microsoft obviously is doing a lot on all fronts, healthcare being one of them. They also have this Copilot solution for healthcare specifically called Dragon, which is like a combination of a assistant that you can give voice notes to and all kinds of things, but they've made it specifically for healthcare. And that's actually quite interesting in the sense that I know that there is at least one solution in Finland that has done the same thing, but now Microsoft have come up with that, and now that's instantly scalable all across the world. So it'll be, I'm curious to see and hear how and when I start seeing this Microsoft solution pop up, in Finland more and more and so on. Maybe that's right now still in the US very heavily, but I'm sure it's going to spread out in the next months.
Mm, yeah, yeah, of course, there's a lot of like I said, peer reviews needed and all that. It's just research at this point. But I have to say, we've discussed this earlier as well, that putting your medical data into these like tools, Gen AI tools out there, you really need to understand what you're doing, and are you willing to give out that data, like practically assume that then it's available there. So, but I mean, personally, I've done that over the years multiple times, and I've been extremely happy with the results. Not that, well, I trust the results that I get from these, and it has helped me, saved me from a lot of visits, I would say, or even given me information that I have not received from the visits I've paid. So it's not to say that it will um, make doctors not needed anymore. Of course not, but it's going to for sure change the jobs and the work of doctors in the future as well. And I'm 100% certain of that, and it has already done that. So yeah, and with the vertical AI agents and the theme, we also need to bring up, of course, agent workforce. Something Digital Workforce launched in May a portfolio of specialized AI agents built to manage general insurance claims from first notification of loss through the final settlement. And we're focusing in the first part in medical insurance claims that are typically full of manual steps to infer and analyze unstructured data input like doctor's notes and medical records. And subsequent evolution of agent workforce aims to generalize the capability across multiple general insurance lines. You had a deep dive conversation with Karli Kalpala where you introduced in a special episode. This was episode 10, where you also demonstrated or had a demo of how the agent workforce is working, and anything you want to add on here, Nico?
Well, I suppose one thing I can at least say is that there are even more agents coming that are listed on the website right now. I know a couple myself, and it's really impressive what you can do with these. It literally is for every step of the medical claims journey. So you can almost call this a multi-agent system by itself, but of course we apply orchestration there, orchestration tools. So it's not just agents talking with agents directly. And maybe on that note, I could mention that orchestration, business process orchestration, or business orchestration automation technologies, or both, as I think Gartner named it, has also been, along with agents, one of the key topics of this year when I'm looking at how the discussions with customers are going and so on. And I think a big part of why that has also become such a big topic that seems to just resonate different to if I compare to a year ago or 2 years ago is because of UiPath's simultaneous launch of their Maestro and their agents. That was a powerful message, and it really is showing, like, there's many public tenders in Finland right now where orchestration is one of the topics there and one of the subjects. And this was not something you would have seen even 6 months ago. And right now it's really popping up everywhere. I'm really happy to see that because obviously we've been preaching for a long time about how business process orchestration makes a difference. And especially, and you know, when you're building these agent solutions, you know, what you really want to do, or if you want to get real benefits, you want to build a successful agentic system for an end-to-end business process rather than looking at that single point in the process where an agent is implemented. So you expand your view to the whole business process and find the ways, find whatever you can automate there. Maybe it's with, you know, maybe agents play a big part in it, maybe RPA plays a big part in it, but you can bring it all together in the orchestration layer and provide that full transparency to the business users, the management, and from a technical perspective as well. So you can see what the RPA did, what decisions the agents did, how did the orchestration layer direct the process flow based on these scenarios that happened, and so on. And even if your idea or vision is to build a multi-agent system, you still get another dimension into it with orchestration, because you're going to want human touch points along the way anyway. And it's even recommended in many papers right now. And because with the orchestration layer, you can build these slick UIs for the users, and the agents will provide structured outputs to the orchestration layer, which is then going to, based on that output, decide where to direct the process flow next. And this can then trigger another agent to start working on its task, report the findings to the orchestration layer, and so on and so on. And you just get this big system instead of a single point solution. And of course, there are many different ways on how to use multi-agent systems, and it's going to depend a lot on a use case. But when we're talking about automating business processes where critical business data is being handled, this is the way to go. Just having the orchestration there brings the structure into the whole, and that's really important if you want to keep control of what's going on in your agent solutions.
Yes, definitely. And the crucial difference that we've been highlighting over the course of these episodes is, of course, that there is a difference between consumer grade LLMs and these enterprise grade AI agents. And like you said, the needs for robust, secure, context aware solutions and everything that comes along, and human in the loop, like you said, an orchestration layer are the crucial components in all this. Let me pick up actually this. I think this is also a great article, and also reminds me we're seeing in our screens the agent Iceberg. Maybe you can, Nico, explain this shortly. But this is practically what happens today is that it's fairly easy to build a demo of an AI agent, but to really scale one to one that can act autonomously, stay on brand, work across millions of interactions, be secure, be traceable and all that. That's a totally different game. And there's a great article on Sierra.ai about this. And there's also the agent Iceberg, which reminds me very much of the iceberg picture that we have created at Digital Workforce many years ago around the technology then. But there's a lot of things that come underneath when you actually have built a demo, and maybe something you want to add here, Nico.
Yeah, first thing I want to say, I thought of the same thing that you did. It reminds me a lot of platform Iceberg that we did
Yes.
way back. But yeah, if you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube, you can see the screen Kristen is sharing, and there's a lot of things in the Sierra article that are pointed out. I'm not going to say all of these are relevant for every single agentic solution, but there are definitely things that you need to consider that go far beyond just the functionality of the agent doing its task. So for instance, prompt injection protection, that's going to be one that is always a topic, let's put it that way. And there are many ways you can work around that, which is good. But yeah, it's just reporting an audit. We talked about evals last time and so on. There's a whole lot of things that come with making a production ready solution that you can release in the wild and let it do its job without having any fear, and with it having the IT's blessing. Let's put it that way. That's important. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Okay, let me stop the screen share. I don't think I had any other tabs open there for screen sharing. Yeah. So moving on to maybe a wrap up soon. I think we can expect GPT-5 during summer in July. It's rumored to come out. We'll see when it comes out. But according to some early testers, GPT-5 model is substantial advance on the company's previous LLMs, and some rumored things that might come with GPT-5. Of course, we don't know, but some individuals are stating that it's not just a GPT anymore, it's AGI. It feels like AGI. And it's one model to rule them all, something we have discussed here as well, that we need some clarity here. It's very confusing for a user to pick the right models. It's going to include everything: text, image, video, audio, and code. It's smarter than human experts and in specialists in PhD level tasks. It's running across devices, laptops, phones, embedded in systems, and then also multitasking on tabs. So editing videos, writing transcripts, analyzing data, research on a problem, all with no lag or task switching. And we can also expect hopefully some memory updates, something we've also discussed here, that it's extremely crucial when we move on, that there will be updates and improvements in memory across like different dimensions where memory is needed. So we'll see if we'll get that during the summer break now.
Yeah, looking forward. I wouldn't be surprised if under the hood it's a multi-agent system, sort of depending on the task, decides on what to do, whether it's going to go on deep research mode or do something with a 4.0 model or something, or switch to O3 in the back end, and so on. I would presume that's going to be one way to get that next step. If we take this from a sort of consumer grade LLM perspective, that would be quite a logical step, probably. Probably also quite expensive to have it run all those modules, but yeah, anyway. But maybe one thing that we also discussed way back was model context protocol.
Oh, right.
Wanted
That's
to
true. Yeah. Give
just
us an
wanted to
update where we are with that.
briefly update on that. It's definitely becoming more and more common. You may have seen it out in the wild already quite a lot. But I'll just say this, that if you have your own solutions that your agents are supposed to access and so on, there's a great course on model context protocol where you learn how to build those clients, build those servers, build the whole connectivity, the communication, the instructions, and so on. Deep learning AI, which is the go-to source for any sort of technical hardcore LLM training. You should really check it out. It's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for those listeners who didn't, which was the episode where we talked about MCP, Model Context Protocol? Maybe you can check that
I
while
want to
I
say
speak, Nick.
3, but
Yeah, can you double check that? But it's Anthropic, the company behind Claude, came up and announced this MCP, Model Context Protocol, in November 2024. And now it has spread and become almost like a standard, which is like much needed. And it's standardizes how applications provide context to LLMs. And you can think of MCP like a USB-C port for AI applications. For those, did you find the episode where we
I didn't.
talked more in?
I'm going to say it's 3 or 4.
So you need to go and check that yourself if you want to know more of the. But that's definitely something that has picked up a lot of speed since and seems to become a big thing.
Yeah. I've been speculating how's it going to go with different types of models? Because obviously in model context protocol, what's sent back to the agent is actually instructions on how to use the actions in the service it's trying to use. So because different models work with different ways, there are going to be multiple different prompts depending on the model type. I don't think that's reality at this point, but let's see if the model logic start to either branch out or converge into the same thing. That's going to have an effect on the future of model context protocol.
Yes. Okay, Nico, do you have any special plans for the summer before we say thanks and bye?
Well, I was thinking of queuing on customer service for most of the day, trying to get through, not naming the company, but I think if you're Finnish, you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna read a book by Karen How, I don't know how you pronounce that, HAO, Empire of AI, and that's Dreams and Nightmares in Sam Altman's OpenAI is a book by Karen Howe, released on May 20th this year, and focuses on the history of OpenAI, its culture of secrecy and devotion to the promise of artificial general intelligence, AGI. So that has got really good reviews, and there's a lot of valuable background information, I hope. And I think I'll order that as physical copy. We'll see
Yeah.
if I manage to do that. But anyways, and if you haven't done so yet and are interested in knowing more about AI agents, and in particular in the business process automation context, I can recommend our Agent Academy courses, and you can there's a free course which is Understanding Agentic AI. I just checked, and we have almost 2,000 people who have signed up for the course, which is fantastic, and I think we'll break that number very, very soon. And there's also a paid course if you want to dive deeper into the world of enterprise AI agents, and in particular the analyst role in all this. That's highly recommended course available online as well. But with that, I think it's time to thank you all for tuning in during our podcast, our first season 1. And we hope you have a wonderful summer. And we look forward to continue our conversation after the summer break. And really enjoy your time off if you're having some time off. And hope you have some great weather wherever you're based. With that, thanks from my part, Dan.
Yes. Thanks, everyone. See you after the summer.
Yes. See you. Take care. Bye.